Hi, welcome to this video. This might be a long one because I'm a little confused and I think I just have to kind of talk through it and maybe we'll figure out something by the end. But anyways, this is Makeup by Mario's new skin soft sculpt transforming skin collection, and there's two steps to this like perfected radiant skin look, and the first one is the skin enhancer and the second part is the skin perfector. The names get, very overlapping and the two products themselves seem kind of similar claims. The whole thing is like kind of confusing. So first let's get into like product description, what it's supposed to do. Step one is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, a 3-in-1 tinted complexion balm. And the three parts are a solid balm, a skin tint, and a creamy bronzer all at once. And I think 3-in-1 is a bit of a stretch because like solid balm, like what kind of claim or purpose is that? Like, okay, yeah, sure, like my lipstick is a solid balm, but it's a lipstick, not a 2-in-1 lip thing. Anyways, skin tint and bronzer at once. Interesting. Are we going back to the days where like people just wore orange foundation to match all their like self tanner or whatever? I'm confused about how bronzer and skin tint is supposed to work in one, and it's supposed to warm, nourish with sheer coverage and even out skin. Okay, so there's that. It retails for $30, comes in 6 shades. I have the lightest shade, light, and it is not all that light. In fact, I kind of wanted to compare it. So, okay, I noticed a lot of brands are coming out with balm tints for the face, and I hopped on one of the first ones, which was the Salt New York Sneaky Balm, and didn't love it, but there are pros and cons for sure. Can see it working for some people. I really like the idea of a balm tint, just like functionally. I love the idea of just kind of like smearing my brush or fingers or whatever and just like plopping it on. It just seems so user-friendly and on the go. But what I'm finding is maybe these formulas aren't for me because they tend to be very balmy and dewy. Maybe too much for my preference. It's okay, I haven't lost hope yet. But in any case, that's my one other point of reference for balmy things and or skin balms. So I pulled it up to compare. Okay, so here is my Sneaky Balm shade in N11, the bronzer in light medium, and here is the Makeup by Mario in light, and as you can see it's much closer to a bronzer shade than anything else here, huh? I swatched them. So here is the shade of Sneaky Balm that matches me best. Here is the skin enhancer, and here is the bronzer. And it's so weird how like this shade is very peachy and pinky, and like what is it really supposed to do? Just for note, this formula is very thin. I actually really like the way it feels on my fingers and going on my face. It's so smooth and so slippery. There is a lot of sheerness and translucency to it. And the Salt New York Sneaky Balm has much more like of a heft, like more thick of a balm feeling, and it's got more pigment to it, though it is very sheerly tinted. But this one is even like thinner, smoother, sheerer, with more translucency. So I can see where it's coming from with the claims of like, oh, it'll work. And he does say that it looks deeper in the pan than it does on the skin, which is absolutely true. This looks much lighter than it does in the pan. In the pan, it looks like it might be the same color as a bronzer, which it isn't quite. But it also, like, I tried putting this all over my skin to start, which I'll show a clip of, and it doesn't look great. I put like a very small layer all over my face and it feels extremely glowy, but most offensively, the color is nowhere near being right. Like, my head just looks completely out of place, and so pivoted and tried to he's got this like 2-minute video on how he uses these products. So that's what I went with, and I'll go ahead and show me putting this product on as he does in his video. I have a very, very sheer layer, maybe less than a full pump of my Koh Gen Aqua foundation. I chose that one because I feel like it's very skin-like, and I'm not going to be putting this all over my skin, so I wanted a base of some sort on already. I'm going to be applying this like Mario does in his little two-step transformation guide, where he goes in with a brush and puts it on like basically everywhere someone would either contour or bronze. So starting with like, he says he likes to go in the perimeter of the face, and it will even out my skin tone, sculpt, and warm it up. So that's nice, I guess. He's got this model whose skin is like perfect and glowing before he starts even. Yeah, he literally puts this everywhere. I would put either bronzer or contour. So there it is, the perimeters of my face, and I think this looks much better than when I first tried putting it all over. It still does like warm up my face in a way that makes it a little jarring from my neck. But if we just focus on my face, yeah, I look more sculpted and more glowing, and sure, more even. I will say it does a good job of sitting on top of the other product I have with just a little bit of foundation. It hasn't really messed with it. I think the effect that this gives is very, very glowy. I can definitely feel how like balmy and glowy it is. But it kind of looks like I spent all day in the sun at the beach, like, but also sweating. Like I look very glowy, like I've just been out all day, and now I'm warmer and sunnier. And now moving on to the Skin Perfector, which is a powder product, a 3-in-1 powder to perfect, illuminate, blur, and set. Dang, that's 4 things. Wow. For radiant glow with an airbrush effect on the skin. Yeah, okay, sure. So it's got 3 sections to it. A lighter, the translucent-ish powder, but it's still got some sheen to it up there. It is definitely brightening for my complexion. A very, very like golden highlighter section in the middle, which it can be a little glittery, metallic-y, and then a bronzer section at the bottom, which not quite deep enough to be a bronzer that I would purchase on its own, but as you're supposed to swirl it all together to use to set the face, I understand why it's this light. So I guess all 3 mixed together makes for a very radiant, warm finish. So here is the Perfector swirled together, and here is the balm. And I can see how these match up. Again, comes in, oh, this one only comes in 5 shades, and I have the lightest one. The powder in here is very, very soft and very dusty. I kind of wish it was a little bit more hard pressed. It can kind of clump together a little. It is very like buttery and soft, and so that's nice to work with, but it can kind of clump together, and I think on the brush you can kind of pick up too much at once, which is not great, because if you have too much on your brush and then don't tap off properly, wherever you first place your brush, the skin enhancer, the really balmy texture underneath, will kind of grab at it and it'll stick a little. At least that's what has been my experience. I'll go ahead and show you real quick. After he goes in and uses this, swirls everything all over the entire thing, and says that the three parts together is literally magic, and uses that to set wherever he just put the skin enhancer. So I'm gonna do the same thing. See how glowy I am? This just instantly kind of takes away all that like super juicy glowiness I just had. But I do look very like velvety and still radiant, so that's cool. And now I'm not nearly as like tacky balmy as I was, but still definitely moist. And then he recommends going into the little bronzer section to add more sculpting and definition if you so desire. So let's give that a try. Oh, hair. Don't mind me. And of course you could try and use the three parts separately, but really I feel like, so I've switched to a smaller brush to try and get just the bronzer. I feel like the sections are so small that like really the easiest one to access is the bronzer if you're just trying to get the one, and otherwise it's a little challenging. Is it just me? Does it look, it looks really streaky right there. That's odd. That's very odd. I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. It looks like really golden and glittery in this one spot because I just went and dipped my brush like and kind of swirled it right in the middle, and the gold part happens to be right in the middle, right? So I didn't like swirl as thoroughly, and then I just stamped it on and it really stuck to the base underneath, and now I just have this really sparkly metallic part on my forehead. The Skin Perfector, it retails for $34, and I'm even more confused about it than I am about the skin enhancer. So what motivated me to buy these, first off, was when I read the descriptions, I got very similar vibes to the Hollywood Flawless Filter, which when that product first launched, I feel like a lot of people were a little unsure about how to best use it. Is it a primer? Is it a highlighter? Is it like a mix-in product with your foundation? Yada, yada, yada. But now a lot of people love it, myself included. It's my favorite highlighter right now. I don't really own / reach for any other ones. So my experience with that slightly confusing, like overly marketed product that just kind of the product that kind of claims to be everything, I figured I'll give it a try, and it might work for me in like one of the ways that it claims, but probably not all of them, but maybe the one it'll really do well and I'll love it. So, oh, that and the fact that I've enjoyed all of the Makeup Mario products I've tried so far, which albeit is just the blush and the eyeliner, but they're like my favorite, some of my favorites in the respective categories. I feel pretty inclined to believe in innovative products put out by makeup artist brands in particular, because, you know, they're the masters of their craft. So I was pretty excited because this seems a little different, and I wanted to go try it out, figure out what's up. I look nice on camera. I look glowy. I can definitely see the kind of aesthetic this goes for. It feels very like LA, very glowy, very Instagram, but like kind of trying to be glowy, sheer, trendy. Do you know? Because right now everything's like super natural. This still looks like makeup-y and very blurred, but also it's lightweight. I can still kind of see my skin through, and then the actual products themselves fit the vibes of like slap on and go. And I don't know. I really don't like the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector. I don't know how this would fit into my lifestyle. It is not particularly great for me as an all-over powder. I think the golden strip in the middle is just too much. If it was toned down in half, I could see this working really nicely. If my complexion was 2 shades deeper, I think both of these would be a lot more versatile. As is right now, I can really only see myself using the SOFTSCULPT Transforming Skin Enhancer as a sheer cream bronzer, and for that I think it's really pretty and gives kind of a unique look that I don't necessarily have in my collection, because it is like twice as translucent as any other cream bronzer I have. It really does let your skin show through, and it's also probably one of the most like dewy, luminous formulas of cream bronzer that I currently own. And the effect that it gives is really glowing, really golden, a little sculpted. It is definitely pretty, and it's definitely not like, it's not quite just like bronzed and darkened and given dimension in certain areas. It does like have very much like a special skin like lit from within glow that I think is kind of similar to how the Flawless Filter distinguishes itself from other highlighters on the market. It's toned down. It's got a little bit of coverage to it, so it's more like somewhere in between a skin-based product and a highlighter. It's not so metallic-y, so it really just seems like it's one with your skin. And similarly, this is like, because it's translucent and lets your skin peek through, it really just feels like this halfway in between product that lends itself to a very, very flattering, natural product that's easy to work with and looks kind of flawless. That being said, is it worth $30? I don't think so. I think if you were someone that was about a shade deeper than me and could get away with using this over more portions of your face, maybe it would. I think I like it best as a sheer bronzer type of product, personally. I will keep trying them, and I will have to update you on these, but this was my first go around. I'm still a little confused, I'm not gonna lie. So let me know if this is a product that piqued your curiosity, or if you have tried them and have a way to use them that you love, do let me know. And I hope this was helpful.